Well, hi, I'm so glad you found us. We are here for week 1 of the 12-week Kickstart preparedness for beginners. And maybe you're not a beginner. Maybe you've been doing this for a couple months or a couple years, but you just want to see if you're missing anything. Maybe you've been around for decades doing the prep thing. And I'm glad that you joined us all the same. This week we're talking about water. Maybe you turned on the tap and nothing came out. Maybe there's a water main broken. Maybe somehow the water's been contaminated and they're telling you not to drink the water. Any of these situations can send people into a tizzy, but stick around. I'm going to show you some things that you can do to add to your preps so that if you get that call or that message comes through, the alert, the Facebook post, somebody comes knock on your door and says you can't drink the water, you're going to be like, okay, it's time for plan B. If I asked you if you were feeling secure about your water storage on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you tell me? 1 being you don't even know if you have enough water to make it through the day if your taps turn off, and 10, you're pretty confident that you could be in it for the long haul. Comment below, let me know. Are you a 1? Help, help, help. Are you a 10? I got some advice that I can share with your viewers. But how much water do I need to store? Is this enough? Or maybe this is enough? Well, to be honest, that's more like it. 9 days for a family of 5, 45 gallons. And don't forget, if you have pets, you're going to want to make sure you add water for them. Half a gallon if you have smaller household pets, maybe up to a gallon if you have some bigger household pets. And don't forget if you have livestock, but I'm pretty sure if you have livestock, you've got it under control. What kind of container do I need? Okay, disclaimer. I used a milk jug to show you a gallon of water, or 5 gallons of water, or 15 gallons of water, or 45 gallons of water. But is this the best vessel to be storing your water in? Not if you're going to be drinking it. We do store water in these. We store them for toilet flushing. Basically, that's about it. And we use them as freezer fillers, but I'll explain that later. What we don't do is we do not put drinking water in here because the plastic starts to break down. They will start to leak over time. They're kind of a cheaper plastic and it's not what we want to put drinking water in. It was just a great visualization to show you how much water you actually needed. Instead, we use containers like this. Or we use containers like this. We also use containers like this. So 5 gallons, 7.5 gallons, 7 gallons. I like this one because I can carry it this way. I'm getting older and it's a little easier to lift this off the ground than it is to lift this off the ground. We fill these ones on a regular basis because this is what we use for our drinking water. I'm going to show you that in a minute. So we have the big tanks, and in there we have the nozzle that comes out so we can fill the smaller bottles. You see they're not sitting on the concrete, they're all sitting on wooden slabs. You don't want plastic bottles sitting on concrete. This one is full. We usually wait till that one gets just started, which it's pretty well just started. So plans for this week is to fill the big one up so that we always have 2 full. How long can you store water before it goes bad? That really depends how you're storing it. If you want it to last longer, you're going to want it in a cool place, preferably in a darker container and away from the heat. That would be a cool place, away from the light. Ideally, you're going to want to store it in a cool place, preferably in a darker plastic and away from the heat. We have it stored in multiple places. We do have water in the garage, as I showed you. Most of it we keep in the house. How do I clean water if I run out of my water storage? Able to find other water sources, but just because the water looks clean does not mean that it's clean and safe to drink. So the next thing I'm going to show you how to purify your water is the SteriPen. It's great for travel, hike, and preparedness. Whatever you need to have it for, whether you want to have it in your go bag or in your house. It comes with this filter connected to a cap, and the cap fits on basically most water bottles. So I'm just going to show you a water bottle I have here. We're going to put this on. Here's the filter down at the bottom. Put it in, pour our water through here so it's filtered. So we know that it doesn't have the dirt, the leaves, the little stones. All of that has been taken out by the filter. Then we're going to take that out, and this is the SteriPen here. It does run on batteries, and I think they say that you get like 2,000 liters per battery usage. Pull the cap off, and there's two different settings. One is for a liter and one's for a half liter. This is almost a liter, so I would put it on for the full liter. And you just press the button here, hold it in there until the light indicator tells you it's done. And then you know that that water is safe to drink. Again, the price difference between this and a Sawyer is quite a lot, as you can imagine. But this is a little easier to use. As long as your water is filtered, you're good to go. You can have this with you and not be worrying about bleach or shock or anything like that. And you know that your water is safe. Next, I'd like to show you the Berkey style water filters. So they offer numerous benefits, including removing a wide range of contaminants like viruses, bacteria, parasites, heavy metals, and chemicals, while generally retaining the beneficial minerals. They're pretty cost effective. Once you've purchased your device, there's no ongoing electricity, no plumbing required, no extra tools, and they're very easy to use. You simply pour the water into the top, let it filter through the filters into the bottom basin, and then there's a spigot at the bottom for you to use your water. I'll add the link to the Big Berkey, which is the one we have, down in the description. But remember, there are other brands of Berkey style water filters. So now that you have your water filtered, if you have the ability and you are where you have a heat source, you can boil your water to purify it. You want to bring it to a rolling boil. And then allow it to stay at that boil for 3 minutes for higher elevations, less for lower elevations. I'm going to give you a worksheet link at the end, so all of that information will be on the worksheet. Okay, so I'm sure you've heard about bleaching water. Do we just dump a glug of this into water and hope for the best? Absolutely not. The amount of bleach that you add to water is so minute. I advise everybody to make sure that if you're storing bleach and planning on that being how you purify your water, you remember two things. One, bleach will slowly lose its potency over time. So this is not a long-term storage prep. Make sure you're swapping this out every 6 to 12 months. I also advise that you have a syringe with the smallest measurements on it so that you can not damage your water and harm yourself by putting too much bleach in. Again, you're just going to want the regular bleach. You don't want lemon scented or lavender scented or anything like that. Just the regular bleach. But I'm going to give you one more piece of advice. Pool shock will last a lot longer. And pool shock will help you make bleach. You don't put the pool shock directly into your water. You put it into water to make bleach. And then you put the bleach into your water. So it's one extra step, but this will last forever. When you add it to the water, it starts to dilute over time. You can carry smaller amounts with you. Just make sure you have the instructions and the amount. So I know that what's in here will go into a gallon of water to make a gallon of bleach. And then I will use my syringe to take that out to add to my water. Again, I know I've given you lots to think about, but everybody's at a different stage of their prep. One of the things that a lot of people I know are purchasing are the water bricks. We don't do the water bricks because we are not short on space, but if you have a shortage of space and you want to start building up your water supply, the water bricks would be a great way to go. We find these work well for us. We have our 200 gallons in the shop. As well, we have water stored in the basement in these ones. We do rotate our water quite often. We are on a well. We can drink our water. It's safe to drink. It just has a little off taste. So we are not drinking it regularly. We are drinking water that we're hauling out from the city, but it is safe to drink. So another way that you can filter your water is through a life straw, where you simply take the cap off, take the other cap off, put it in your water source and drink it. This does require some heavy duty sucking power. I will be completely honest. I've tried this. They work. They're not the easiest things to use. Do we have them? We sure do. If that's the only way that we're going to get fresh water, we definitely have them. There's one in each bag. There's a couple in the vehicles. Another one that's similar, which we actually prefer. It's a little more costly than the Life Straw. The Life Straw, you'll often see packs of 6 of them on quite cheap. This one's a little bit more expensive. However, this one you fill your bag with the water and you screw on the filter. And then the water gets clean going through this way. So it's a little easier to use. But what if you're trying to get water for your family? You're gonna take turns with a Life Straw, or, definitely a small child would have a hard time using the Life Straw, as I showed you before. But this is a Life Straw family. So you fill this with water, it goes through the gravity-fed filter, and then you have the spigot coming out at the end. So you can be filtering a lot more water at once. So that's an older model. This is a newer model that comes with a collapsible bag. Again, the link for this one is in the comments as well. This would be great if you're out hiking. Bag folds up really small. It's like a neoprene bag. And then you hook the hoses onto the bottom. So you have your water in here and it's filtering out. Okay, so one last thing I'm going to show you is the Life Straw water filter pitcher. I've bought this and put it away, as well as I've collected some of the different filters. There's the charcoal filter and then the membrane micro filter. It takes both. I haven't used this yet, but it does come with pretty good reviews, and I've put it away because I haven't had to use it. So in the event that we needed to have filtered water, it's the water pitcher. You put the 2 different filters into it. I'm going to link that in the description below as well. One last thing I want to say about Life Straw is Life Straw is an amazing humanitarian company, and so every time something is purchased, they help in countries where they don't have safe drinking water. Not sure what they do for the many people in Canada that don't have safe drinking water. I'm going to look into that though. But this will cut out 99% of all bacteria, 99% of parasites, 99.9% of microplastics, filters 254 gallons on each set of filters. So again, I haven't used it yet because I haven't needed to, but it's a great sense of security to know that I have this when I do need it. So what if you're just getting started? Is it okay to just buy water to get started? Sure it is. You can buy these filled at almost any grocery store, most convenience stores. You can buy a few cases of water. These are handy too. We don't buy a whole lot of this, but it's great to have water just if you need it in a hurry, or if you want to grab something and go and not have to worry about the container coming back. And we also have a few cases of these. So these are smaller quantities. They're little bags of water. We have a few of them in each of our vehicle as well as in our to-go bags. It's only a cup and a half of water, but you never know what the emergency is going to be. Maybe you're driving along the highway and there's some poor soul stranded on the road and you want to give them a drink of water. They're great in the winter. They freeze and then they just thaw. All good. So I put the link to most of this stuff down in my description. Again, these are a lot more costly than filling up a container like this, but they're a lot more convenience to have on the go. So lots of ways you can get started. So I'm curious, did you get any new ideas today, or did you know everything? Anything that you might think of shopping around for, placing an order, hitting up some thrift stores to try and find some of these things, or have you got it all? I'm really hoping that maybe I helped one or two of you, and if I did, then this was all worth the time it took to put together. And be sure to like and follow, because I want you around next week when we start talking about powerless cooking and how are you going to feed your family if the power goes out. I'm excited to show you some of the ways that we cook off-grid, and hopefully you can learn something. So the 1 gallon a day is basically going to cover the water that you need to brush your teeth, have your tea, eat your food, cook your food. But I'm going to also recommend that you use some containers, maybe something like this. This was my dishwashing detergent. I've just added water to it. I've written right on it that it is for hand washing. And it's got the perfect pump. It's got a little soap still in there. And we're going to be able to use this to wash our hands. So think outside the box. And before you put something in the recycling, can I use it for water? And if I can't use it for drinking water, is there another way that I could use it? So till next week, take care, be safe, plan ahead, just in case.